What's good, peeps? Thanks as always for passing by the channel. Much appreciated. Hit that subscribe button if you guys are new. Don't forget as well, please, to like and share the vids. Again, thank you so much to everyone that continues to do that. You can also support the channel as well. I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, let's do this. The first Q&A of 2020. It's been long overdue. I am actually excited to do this Q&A. Normally, I have a quick peek of the questions. I haven't done that at all this time, so I will literally be answering them as I see them. A couple of things. Firstly, apologies if I sound like crap. That's because I feel like crap. I definitely have a bit of the man flu coming on. What else was I going to say? Yes, Patreons. Firstly, thank you to all the patrons. Honestly, I mean it. Thank you so much. But I feel like I need to do something. So any suggestions, please? I need to do something. I don't like the idea of you supporting me and me not giving anything back, right? I mean, these videos don't count as something back. So we need to think of something. Well, I do really, but I wouldn't mind your assistance in helping me in terms of what you want to do. I'm literally down for fucking anything. Nothing silly, but anything. So please, suggestions, please, as to what we can do. Honestly, I don't know if you guys want to meet up for a drink. I don't know if you guys, obviously, I think I phoned most of you. I don't know if you guys like that. I don't know. So let me know what you guys want to do and I'll get it started, because I really want to be proactive with that this year, because again, I'm so not doing much. Thirdly, and if this eats into our Q&A time, I'll just make the Q&A a bit longer. This Umar Ahmed thing, I was going to make a separate video about it. I still might, but I just find it all a bit weird, if I'm honest with you. So people were tweeting me saying, Ade, what's going on with Umar Ahmed? What do you think? And I was like, what's happened? I genuinely didn't know anything about the situation. And then I obviously found out that Umar had tweeted a few things, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, that for some weird reason have been dug up now. I don't know the context as to why they've been dug up, but let's be honest, he said a few silly things in those tweets. Bear in mind, I think this is quite important, is that Umar Ahmed at the time, I think Umar's like 21 now, maybe 22 max. So he was like 17 or 18 at the time. I'm 38. God forbid, God forbid people dig up what I was like at 18. I was fucking off the rails at 18. My mum kicked me out at 18. So what, 17? Was it 18? 18, I think she told me to get out of the house. So you kind of know I was off the rails. So what I'm trying to say is that you do some dumb shit when you're young. Dumb shit. I mean, people do dumb shit as adults, but you do some dumb, reckless shit when you're 18. Thank God there wasn't Twitter around when I was 18. Thank God. Don't get me wrong. I was never doing or saying homophobic things or racist things or really even sexist things. That just isn't me. But I was doing some dumb shit. I've met Umar a few times. He's come here. We've sat down. Great guy. Great guy. Yes, he says some dumb shit. But I almost expect him to say some dumb shit because, again, he's young. He's young, right? I mean, even at 21, 22, I still find that quite young. I mean, I've got sort of nephews and nieces that are around that age, and I still think they're quite immature, if I'm honest with you. Sorry if you're watching, people. But it's true. I mean, the fact that people can dig up what you said 4 or 5 years ago and take that as gospel as to what you're like now. I don't know. I don't know where the world's going, if I'm honest with you. Again, I think what should happen here is that, I don't know, he should release a statement. I think he's deleted his Twitter as well, which is, again, just ridiculous. Release a statement, apologize for those things, move on. I mean, it's not like this guy's fucking started World War IV or we had World War III. He hasn't done that. I mean, jeez. Just like he's moving on. He's doing so well in his career. I think he's growing as a person. I think what he does is fantastic. Just, again, accept his apology if he has apologized and move on. All right, that was 2 minutes into our video. So let's add 2 minutes into the Q&A. And let's get started. All right, first question. Let's go to the emails. And first one is from Ben Smith, who says, congrats on the Sky job, Ade. Fantasy matchup, Alexander Usyk versus Roy Jones at Cruiser. Who wins, how and why? I'm going to say Usyk, and hear my reasoning. Roy Jones at cruiser was towards the end of his career, right? It was. The best Roy Jones, obviously light heavyweight. Some might even say super middleweight. Some might even say heavyweight because of what he done, right? But the Roy Jones at cruiser was towards the end. So if you're talking about that Roy Jones versus the Alexander Usyk we saw at cruiser, then Alexander Usyk will beat that version of Roy Jones. I think the question though is when Roy Jones jumped from light heavy when he fought Tava to then fight John Ruiz at heavy. If you're talking about that Roy Jones, because that Roy Jones could have fought at cruiser, then that's a whole different discussion. And I would go that Roy Jones. But if you're talking about the Roy Jones that actually fought at cruiserweight, then you've just got to go Usyk. I mean, you've just got to. Didn't Enzo Maccarinelli knock him out as a cruiserweight? That's my point. All right, Ryan Z says, hi, Ade, I have a few questions. How do you think Shannon Briggs would do in this era of heavyweights? Good question. Good question. How would peak Shannon Briggs do? You know, I don't even know what peak Shannon Briggs is. I did like the Shannon Briggs that fought Lennox Lewis. I thought that was a little fun fight for a couple of rounds. I don't know. I don't think he had the gas tank. I just don't think he was. I think Shannon Briggs underachieved, you know. That's stupid because he became a world champion. But I think he could have done a lot better with all his attributes. I thought he had punch power, he had a good chin, was fast. I don't know. How would Shannon Briggs do? Would that Shannon Briggs beat a Dillian White? I'm going to say yes. So I think he'll probably be a top 5 contender, maybe. Probably. I mean, look, as much as I think, and I think I've said this before, that I think we've got a good bunch of heavyweights. A good bunch of heavyweights isn't me saying I think they're all fucking great. I just think we've got a good bunch that will mix it with each other. I'm not saying they're great. I think we have 3 or 4 very good ones. After that, yeah. Top 5 favourite rappers. I just have one, and that's Tupac. But I will give you my 5, just because you've asked. So Tupac, Nas, DMX, Daylight, which might shock people. He's like a freestyle battle rapper. Fucking phenomenal. And Biggie. Not Jay-Z. Don't mention Jay-Z to me, please. Prime Gerald McClellan versus Prime James Toney at middle. Who do you think would win? It's a good question. And the reason it's a good question is because James Toney obviously struggled at middleweight, but James Toney is one of the greatest fighters of all time as far as I'm concerned. Honestly, I just ballooned in weight. So I'm getting James Toney every day. There aren't many people I would pick against James Toney. That there isn't, honestly. Last question. Do you think guys like Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, or even older welterweights get downplayed because how dominant Floyd Mayweather Jr. was and how we treated fighters verbally? Good point. That's a good point. But I think real boxing fans, and I put myself in that category, know how good those guys were. I mean, come on. Oscar. I mean, what was it, Oscar? A 5-weight world champion. Shane. What was Shane? 3 or 4? Oh, come on. I mean, peak Shane Mosley, even with the drug issue, was fucking phenomenal. You're talking hand speed and punch power. Hand speed and punch power. He's maybe what you're saying is right. I think maybe sort of your casual boxing observer doesn't really understand how good Shane Mosley was. And Oscar De La Hoya fought everyone. When you talk of boxers ducking people, win or lose, go and check Oscar De La Hoya's rap sheet. That's why it's weird when I look at him now as a promoter and I felt like he's been holding fighters back, because him as a fighter literally fought everyone. Fucking fought everyone. All right, next question. Stephen Flowers says, hi, Addy. Will Eddie Hearn sign an extension to his TV deal with Sky, or do you think DAZN will come into the UK and he will go with them? I think he has about 18 months to 2 years left on his contract, and that's about the time when the Premier League rights will be due again. This is when I think DAZN will come to the UK. Mate, it's no foregone conclusion that DAZN will get Premier League rights. I mean, I know they've got money and I know they're chucking bucket loads at it, but I mean, everyone is. We saw Amazon recently show a weekend of Premier League football. I heard about how much that cost. A lot. And that's just for one weekend. A lot. Yes, they had every game, but trust me, it's not cheap. The Premier League rights are a joke. Remember, DAZN did try and get the Champions League rights and failed as well. They tried to come in, get the Champions League rights, and they were outbid by BT. So it's no foregone conclusion that even with the Premier League rights, even with them trying to get the Premier League rights, that they'll get them. And they'll only enter the market, like you're saying, with Premier League rights. If they do come into the market and they do get the Premier League rights, then yeah, I expect Eddie to sign with them solely and not have any joint kind of relationship, solely with DAZN. I don't know what this means for Sky. I don't know what this means for boxing on Sky, if I'm honest with you. They might just stop it. Sky, boxing is big for Sky, but obviously it's all about Premier League football. Everything's about Premier League football. Everything. So I don't know how much of a priority boxing is for Sky, if I'm honest with you. So we'll see what happens, right? They obviously no longer show WWE. What BT took that, and that was big viewing figures. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let's have a look at this one. Sorry, we're still on emails, by the way. Theo Izat says, hi there, I wanted to ask a question for the Q&A you're about to do. Here we are, brother. Could someone like Dana White with a lot of financial backing be able to reform the sanctioning bodies? This is asked because the WBA Gold and WBO Global belts have started to be recognized as legitimate titles. Could he be able to reform the sanctioning bodies? I don't think he wants to, if I'm honest with you. I think he wants to come in and almost make it not about belts, more about fights, if that makes any sense. And I think that's what we as fans want. I mean, the belts always look good, right? Always fantastic. But if you were to tell me today that Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence was to happen and no belts were on the line, wouldn't give a shit. Just let the fight happen, please. And I think Dana White wants to come in, almost offer as much money as possible for people to fight and for fans to care about the fights rather than shiny belts around someone's waist, which is going to be difficult because we're used to a big fight having loads of belts on the line. But we'll see what happens. That's what I think Dana White's going to try and do. All right, do we have any more emails? We've got one more. And this is from Lee Ferguson. Says, hi, Addy. Love the show as usual. Please keep the vids coming. They will, guys. Obviously, now I'm kind of winding down on Sky, so I'm not there every single day. We're going to be up there with vids. My question is, do you think we will see Andy Ruiz fight at the highest level again? Seems like the money and fame has got him, and I don't think he has the discipline to keep the weight off. I'd love to see him fight Dillian. Your views, please. I did a video about this saying, is it or was it a one-hit wonder with Andy Ruiz? The thing about Andy Ruiz is that I don't know how old he is, but I'm going to guess and say he's either 30 or below. So he's got age on his side, right? And we all know what the issue is. It's his weight. I mean, if he drops a bit of weight, I think we all saw, in terms of boxing ability, he's one of the best in the division. So I think he can. He's obviously switched trainers now, no longer with Manny Robles. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We're hearing rumours about Teddy Atlas. I don't know how that's going to work out. So, yeah, I think he can. I think he'll do good things. With regards to him versus Dillian White, if we're talking peak versus peak, so I don't know where either of them are, by the way, because everyone's talking about Andy Ruiz's weight. What was his weight? 283, was it that? Something like that. Let's not forget, Dillian White weighed 271 for Marius Vac. But so I'm going to go on peak versus peak. So if we're talking about the best Andy Ruiz, I would have him beating Dillian White. I would. Good fight. Dillian White brings it. But I think Andy Ruiz is better than Dillian White. That's my own personal opinion. All right, let's go to YouTube. I think that's it. All right, to YouTube, Tawheed Ali says, what's the most entertaining boxing match you've seen live? Most entertaining boxing match. Oh, okay, yeah. A fight I commentated on in South Africa. I think it was 154 pounds or 160. Anyway, it was a fight in South Africa in a small, intimate venue. And it was a fight between a guy called Cristiano Ndumbasi and Johannes Sally. Oh my God. Not even playing. You'll find it somewhere. Cristiano Ndumbasi versus Johannes Sally. I kid you not, 12 rounds war. Think Hagler Hearns, big name drop there, for 12 rounds. They went at it for 12 rounds. War. Find it somewhere. It was a fight in Cape Town. I'm trying to think of what the venue was called. It was like an army base. About 3,000 people there. Everyone was standing up. I was on commentary. Great fight. EC says, what's your thoughts on Joe Laws? No thoughts, if I'm honest with you. Joe Laws, 8 wins, 9 wins, unbeaten, but he's not fought anyone. So I wait until we see something else, if I'm honest with you. But he's got a bit of a character. But in terms of boxing, then nothing yet. What's this one? Foshan, the Panhandle champion, says, why is AJ running from Wilder? Oh, here we go. But everyone wants to play like he wants to fight. Call him out on his BS and contradictions. It's ridiculous the level of protection he gets and how people overlook things because he's their favourite fighter. I don't even know how to answer that question. Why is AJ running from Wilder? Explain. Like, I wish I could have a conversation with you. Explain to me how Anthony Joshua is running from Deontay Wilder. I think I said this. I done a sit down with someone the other day. No one's running from no one. It's managers, promoters, and TV networks. It's that simple. Like, oh God. Yeah. Anyway, Mr. KWX Ben 1966 says, "Big up Talksport newspaper man. Thank you, dude. If you don't know what he's talking about, I've recently started a gig with Talksport where I do their paper review, sort of Saturdays and Sundays early morning, which is fun." Mr. KWX Ben 1966 says, another question. How's it going wag-wise now you're on Sky? Nah, it's difficult to answer that one. But look, to be fair, I used to get them anyway. So not much has changed. JT says, GGG is getting old. How do you see him losing? Personally, I can see him getting stopped by body shots as we saw him getting hurt by Derevchenko. Yeah, that was, as a GGG fan, that was a bit scary, right? Hence why I've always said go to 168. I just think he's killing his body fighting at 160. And if he continues, then yeah, he's going to have a problem. That being said, Derevchenko is one tough motherfucker. Tough. GGG might not get credit for beating him, right? Because everyone's, B-level fighters. That guy ain't no B-level fighter, you know. Derevchenko, go and watch the fight with Danny Jacobs. I mean, that guy can fight. He's tough. But yeah, I see GGG losing and losing soon. I think if he fights Canelo in September, I think there is a good chance Canelo stops him. Painful to say that. Damian Brooks says, thanks, Ade, for your great work, and I'm delighted for you and your Sky job. We made your company know how big you are, how big your name is, even before you joined them. That's true. By the way, you guys are crazy. Like, I saw on a couple of, they put obviously on YouTube their videos, the transfer show that I was on, and it went mad. Ade. It went mad. Honestly, I think because of you guys, I actually got more shifts. It was crazy. Even the AJ interview I done, it literally was just Ade. Fucking madness. Question, he says, what do you think of Israel Adesanya and Romero matchup for the UFC 248? Those of you guys are not MMA fans, Israel Adesanya is the middleweight champion, and Romero is a dangerous motherfucker from Cuba who's like 42 but looks like he's about 25. Honestly, he's the most athletic person I think we've ever seen in the UFC. That is a massive, and I repeat this with a capital M, massive banana skin for Israel Adesanya. Massive. And I wouldn't be shocked with the upset, put it that way. Mr. KWX Ben ask another one. Are there any black women working in the Sky Studios? A few. Actually, not a few. 2? Oh, wait, did I see any more? 2. There's Jessica Creighton, who used to do BBC. She does some stuff for Sky. Who else did I see? And Anne-Marie Baston, who does some stuff. She does like football and some other stuff for TalkSport as well. It is what it is. I would like to think that it's not a case of sort of getting black people or Asian people or any other minorities, if you like, in just to kind of fill holes, you're getting the best person for the job. That's what I would like to think. I mean, I fully understand sometimes that isn't always the case, but I don't know. Hopefully, we're starting to see a bit of a change. And obviously, I'm there, JD's there. There's a few black guys. Fingers crossed, we are starting to see a good mix of everyone. That's how it should be, right? But again, I am all for best person for the job. That's what I'm all for. Mr. KW says, any more news on the live Q&A? Yes, there is a bit of news, guys. So it's down to 2 venues. So it's down to the YouTube space in King's Cross or Box Park Wembley. I was invited to Box Park Wembley the other day for a 20-year anniversary, 25 or 20-year anniversary, I think, of Julius Francis versus Mike Tyson. And we spoke to the venue organizer there, and they were very happy to have box talk at Box Park. So yeah, it's going to happen very, very soon. JT says, any tips on traveling abroad alone? Yeah, I've obviously done that a lot in the last sort of 2-3 years. I don't know what tips to give you. Safety is obviously a big one. That's a huge one, especially when you are going to these areas that you've never been to. Obviously, London, I think it's funny because people talk about London like it's dangerous. I think London's fucking safe compared to some of the countries I've been to. I don't know, dude. Enjoy it. Get out of the hotel like I used to and just go around. I always used to try and find a gym. Everywhere I went to, I would sign up for the gym because that would be my thing of just getting out of the house and just meeting people. And obviously trying to, increase the bicep and tricep size. Luke Whedon says, do you see the winner of Fury Wilder fighting AJ in late 2020? They have their trilogy, but if Team Joshua send a deal over before the rematch is triggered, then they possibly could make the undisputed fight false. I asked AJ the question, and it was I felt like his answer was a bit cliche. Oh, we know we're in discussions. I feel like we've been hearing that for 2 years. At this stage of things, I'm just tired of it. If I'm honest with you, I'm fucking tired of it. And it's almost got to a point now, whereas in 2018, early 2019, I could picture it. Now, it's starting to almost fade away. I actually can't picture AJ fighting Fury or Wilder. I just can't. I mean, can you? I can almost see Wilder winning and Wilder fighting Charles Martin or Andy Ruiz because they're PBC type fighters. Not because, he's fighting because Charles Martin's fighting Gerald Washington on the undercard, by the way. So I think Charles Martin will beat Gerald Washington. So I can see him doing that. I can see him doing Ruiz, which will be a big fight, right? So yeah, I just can't see him happening. Can you really see him happening? I can't. What's this? Devil of Hell's Kitchen says, who do you think Crawford should fight next? Anybody? Anyone of note, please? I think Danny Garcia looked pretty decent in his last fight. I think it's fair to say. That could be a decent fight, especially now Danny Garcia's coming off a win. I think everyone said he looked good. That could be a good fight. I mean, personally, I'd like it to be Furman, personally. But, I mean, I'm not even going to talk Spence yet. Pacquiao, these are unrealistic ones. I'm talking the ones that I can actually realistically fathom. And that's Danny Garcia, probably the first, and maybe Furman. Porter? I think Porter's going to get the Pac-Man fight. I really do. Or Amir Khan. I'm starting to realise that Amir Khan's gone quiet now, so that could mean something's going on behind the scenes. Dominic Cesari says, do you ever get bored of boxing? Yes, absolutely. I get bored of when the fights that I want to see don't happen. Or not even that I want to see. The fights that we all want to see don't happen. That's when I just think, oh, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? I just get tired of it. I get tired of hearing about, I don't want to know about promotional issues. I don't want to know about A-side, B-side. I don't want to know about this. And I just want to see the fights. And I think we're in an era right now where, let's be honest, we're getting decent matchups, but they're almost decent matchups. What am I trying to say here? Like, we don't think they're going to be good fights. They turn out to be good fights. But I want to see fights where going in, I can't fucking breathe. Like, there's something in my stomach. And I only had that feeling maybe once or twice last year, if I'm honest with you. AJ Ruiz, I got that feeling. And I got that feeling with Yard versus Kovalev. Not many times. Not saying there weren't good fights in 2019. There were, but we need more. Global Frank 95 says, do you think boxing will ever become like MMA is? One business becomes a monopoly of the sport and has all the best fighters under one promotion? If it does, surely it would improve the matchmaking and the chance for the biggest fights to happen. Also, don't usually ask a second question, but I had to ask this. What does Mamba mentality mean to you? Rest in peace, Kobe. Fucking hell. Dude, it's a tough second question. All right, let's get the first question out of the way. No, I don't believe boxing will ever become like MMA with UFC being so dominant, right? Even though there are some other, I mean, look, Bellator got some good fighters in it. So has ONE FC, but I just can't see it. I think it almost, they tried to do it, didn't they, before with Al Heyman signing everyone. It almost felt like a new signing every other week. And that kind of then splintered off. DAZN have tried, splintered off. I think there are too many big players in boxing right now that have all got sort of big TV deals and money. Top Rank with ESPN, Eddie Hearn with Sky Sports and DAZN, and PBC with Fox and Showtime, sorry. So there's just too many, all right? You look at those people and you could almost argue that all three are the same in terms of size. If one was so dominant, then you could say that one could swallow up the others, but it's not the case, so I can't see it happening. Mamba mentality, what does it mean to me? Such a good question. You know what it is about Kobe? Something about taking risks. You know, like Kobe always used to have the ball, so come up the court, last 5 seconds, could pass it, but wanted to be the man to take the shot. And he almost lived and died by that, right? Like he was going to be the guy that was going to take that last shot. He gets it in, he gets all the accolades and all the applause. He doesn't get it in, people start moaning about an open man and he could have passed because he's normally being double teamed. But he took it. All the time he took it. Rarely did he pass the ball. And there's something about that where take that shot. Risk it. Risk it. Because the rewards for taking that shot are so big as opposed to passing it off. The rewards are so big. I mean, you know, you take the shot, you miss, so what? Take it again, right? Take it again and again and again and again. Just take it. And I think we as people, sorry to rattle on here, are so afraid to take the shot because of the perceived outcome if we miss. We're so scared of people's reactions. Kobe didn't give a fuck about reactions. He took the shot all the time. And that's Mamba mentality. And that's what I've been trying to do, if I'm honest with you. I've been taking shots recently. I've been taking shots, people. And I mean, for every successful one shot, right? Because you guys always hear me talk about, oh, CNN and Sky Sports and TalkSport, whatever. Hundreds declined me. Hundreds. I can't tell you how many show reels I've sent off and CVs and job applications. But you got to take the shot. And I took the shot and I've been lucky. Or is it luck, or is it the case I'm taking the shot? Where some people don't take the shot and are just there, safe. I don't want to be safe. Life isn't about being just safe. Life's about taking risks because, again, the rewards are so good when you take risks. If you play it safe, then that's just a fucking mundane lifestyle for me. Anyway, that's it. Darrell Carter says, if AJ beats Wilder and Fury, does he pass Lennox Lewis in terms of legacy? Such a good question. There's so many ifs there, isn't there? Though? If he beats Wilder, if he beats Fury. I guess he does. If he beats those two. I mean, because people will say, Lennox Lewis has got some good ones, but everyone, like Evander Holyfield, fantastic one, right? I mean, that's the big one. Hasim Rahman, good one. Oliver McCall rematch, good one. Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson was at the end. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Wilder and Fury right now, we can say they're at their peak right now. People might say Fury, Klitschko, but you can say Fury's kind of at his peak right now. So if he's beating two guys that right now are there, like two, remember I did a video about 3-4 weeks ago talking about A-level opponents. These are two A-level opponents, legit A-level. Plus he's got a bunch of Bs as well. So, I mean, he could, it's a good question. Brad H says, what's next for Josh Warrington? And do you think he has the potential to collect all the belts at featherweight? Great vids, Ade, always look forward to them. Let's answer your part backwards. So, does he have the potential, to collect all the belts at featherweight? No, I don't think so. I can't remember who's got the WBA. Is it A? I can't remember the guy's name. So maybe that belt. But I don't see him beating Gary Russell Jr. or Shakur Stevenson. And I like Josh a lot. And he's proved me wrong twice. I can't lie to you. I picked Selby beating him and I picked Frampton beating him. I picked him picking Galahad, which was a close fight. But yeah, he's not becoming an undisputed at featherweight. No chance. No fucking way. What next? I don't know. He tweeted recently, didn't he? And he didn't seem happy. He said, look, I'm the IBF champion. I've beaten, I think he started reading off the names of the people he's beaten. I sell out stadiums or arenas and like what's going on with my career. I think he was annoyed. He wanted the Shakur Stevenson fight. I don't think financially Frank can bring Shakur Stevenson over here. That's what I don't think. So Shakur's gone that way. Josh has gone that way. And I think they're trying to build it even more, which is a bit risky. But I still like him, but I can't see him cleaning up. Darrell Carter says, bro, you're not with Sky anymore. Has that job finished? No, I've signed a year contract. My show's finished. That show was only for a month. So there are other stuff I'm going to do with them. I have signed a year contract. So look, even I never ever go back to Sky again. It was a box ticked in terms of something I wanted to do and achieve. And that's what life's about for me right now, just ticking boxes. But no, it hasn't finished. I still expect to do a lot more things with Sky. I guess like in the freelance kind of journalism world, which I'm in right now, you just take opportunities wherever they come from anywhere. So if it's not Sky, it will be CNN. If it's not CNN, ESPN Africa are getting their boxing thing going again. If it's not them, it's this. If it's not this, it's TalkSport, anywhere. Literally, I am like a mercenary for hire, my friend. Duboy says, do you remember the fight that made you decide that you love boxing? For me, it was Floyd versus Hatton. Fun fact, this is the first fight I ever watched. It came on when I was 6. Jeez, making me feel old. The fight that made me fall in love with boxing, I think it might have been Bruno Tyson, the first one. I think they used to show those fights on ITV late, but I do remember just being at home, maybe my big brother and my dad, and just watching that fight. I think it might have been Bruno Tyson. But the fight where I kind of fully understood boxing and made me really like just go crazy about the sport and fall in love with this guy, I think Nigel Benn, Gerald McClellan. I think that was just everything. And Frank Bruno, ringside, I'm going to say he was wearing a red suit. Was it blue? Can't remember, but he banged on the canvas. That fight was epic. Rampage Ryan says, who is the best middleweight? Canelo, unfortunately. Canelo's the best middleweight. No, Golovkin is, but Canelo is. No, Canelo. Yeah, Golovkin didn't look good in his last fight, did he? BG London says, do you think the Wilder Joshua fans feud spoils boxing? Nah, not really. Not really. It is what it is, isn't it? I think it's good. It'll be good when that fight ever happens, right? I like the idea of opposing fans like that. I think it's good. I think that's what makes sports so good, right? When you have opposing fans. Like, I don't know if you're a football fan, but when you go into football stadiums and you've got the away fans and the home fans and they're going at each other, singing songs and saying other things, but it's great. I do like it. BG London says, name some guilty pleasure music you listen to. When you say that, he's put a smart laughing emoji here as well, people. Do you mean like music that I shouldn't listen to, or you would think I wouldn't listen to? I listen to everything. There's a lady called Sunny Patterson who's like a spoken word. I listen to that. I'm a bit of a neo soul person. So yeah, rap would always be my main base, but I listen to a bit of Oasis, Coldplay. I'm not even joking. Like I'm pointing there because all my CDs are there. But yeah, I listen to a bit of everything. Zishan Saeed says, who do you think would win between Fury and Joshua? This is boxing, right? Anything can happen, but gun to the head, I would say Fury. Darrell Carter says, do you get free Sky Sports when you work for them? Not that I know of. To be fair, I've not even asked that, to be honest. Just try and go in there and impress and do what I can do. Whether or not I get free Sky Sports don't even think about it, if I'm honest with you. I'm sure, I don't know, would you? Would you expect it? You probably would, wouldn't you, expect to get it, but I've not asked for it. Sunny Singh says, do you think the YouTube boxing catastrophe will keep occurring until they're made to build themselves up a bit on undercards. Wasn't this last fight on an undercard though? Or was it headline? Did it headline? I hope it didn't. I mean, if the people paying saw how crap Gib would be, whether it be nerves or he's just not good enough, who'd stay up and pay to watch that sort of stuff again? Also, Jake Paul is a disgrace, walking around with his WBC title from Toys R Us. He couldn't beat the top 100 in the world unless someone took a dive. Look, this YouTube boxing thing is here to stay. It's here to stay, and it's here to stay because the numbers are just fucking ridiculous. It's that simple. It's that simple. The numbers are just ridiculous. I done a video a couple of days ago talking about it. They had, I think Sky put up Demetrius Andrade's fight. They put up Tevin Farmer's fight against Jojo Diaz, which is, by the way, a massive fight. And they put up that Gib dude versus Jake Paul. At the time I looked at it, Tevin Farmer versus Jojo Diaz had 10,000 views. 10,000. Demetrius Andrade had, I think, 40,000 views. This is no joke. They put these videos up at the same time. Jake Paul versus that Gib dude had 2.3 million. Now, again, we're boxing fans. They're numbers. They're numbers people. Like, you'd be silly with those type of numbers to say, oh no, we're offending the hardcores, we can't show boxing, YouTube boxing again. If Sky and Eddie and DAZN don't do it, trust me when I say Showtime, Top Rank will get involved. Because those numbers are ridiculous and they're numbers people. It's that simple. I eat sneakers for breakfast, and what says, what's up, Ade? Do you think it's fair that Hearn now keeps saying AJ is the best heavyweight in the world, despite being knocked out badly by Ruiz? I think he has the best resume, but whoever wins the Fury-Wilder fight for me is the best. Thoughts? Yeah, I agree with you. I think whoever wins that fight is #1 heavyweight in the world. I don't think you can argue about it. The ring belt's on the line as well, and that kind of normally rubber stamps that argument. But let's not underestimate what AJ did. I mean, again, you said it, being knocked out badly by Ruiz. I mean, he got put down, what was it, 3 or 4 times in a fight he was supposed to easily win, and then he avenged it immediately. That's not easy to do. Psychologically, that's not easy to do. I think we will take that part away from boxing, the psychological impact of the sport, the mental aspect of it. And I mean, Eddie Hearn's his promoter. The promoter should be trying to sell you as the great. That's his job, right? Eddie Hearn is flamboyant. We know he's over the top, a bit too OTT, but that's what he should be doing. He's not going to be walking around saying, oh, AJ is the 3rd or the 2nd or 4th. He's going to say he's #1. He's going to say he's #1 for a few different factors, not just because he thinks he can beat Wilder and Fury, which he probably does. Maybe behind doors he doesn't, but I don't know. But because he's got, what's he got, 3 belts, 4 belts, because of the numbers he generates. It's a whole package to what he's saying. So, yeah, that's probably why he's saying it, sorry. Adam Jones says, despite Fury and Wilder having everything you need for a mega fight, it's still not selling that well and doesn't feel like it. Why do you think that is? That's interesting, right? And by the way, they paid for an ad during Super Bowl. And trust me, that cost a hell of a lot of money, right? I think it was a 30-second ad. That 30-second ad is probably going to cost about $5 to $6 million, easy. So they know they have to start pushing it. I don't know why. Like, I'm very intrigued by this fight. Sometimes people are like that. When you've seen it once, sometimes people don't necessarily want to see it again. I don't know why that is. That's just how people are. I think people might also be tired about this Fury Wilder AJ thing, and all they want to do all they want to see now really is AJ fight one of those guys. But I think regardless, I think it's a fantastic fight, and I can't wait for it. I really can't. But with regards to why it's not selling, neither of these guys are big draws, by the way. Like you know, they're not. They're not. I mean, Bob Arum talking about this fight doing 1 million or 2 million pay-per-view buys is bullshit. It doesn't get anywhere near that. They're not big draws. Good fighters don't equate to big draws. It's how it is. Mart H says, big up Addy, great work on Sky, pal. Shame we don't get as many vids, but it's understandable. My question, what's going to happen with Josh Taylor? Does he end up at 147 against Crawford? And how does he do? Don't know why, but I struggle with him. Can't help but think he's a wrong one. Oh, that's quality. That's fucking quality. You have to be from London to say that, or Essex or Wrong'un. I love it. I think Ramirez might beat him too, which would really dent his plans. Yeah, I think that's the aim, right? I saw a video with Spencer Fearon where he spoke about, I think Josh Taylor says something about going to 147 and fighting Terence Crawford. You don't have a chance in hell against Terence Crawford. Sorry, doesn't. Nah. Nope. I like Josh Taylor. I think Josh Taylor's a good fighter. I really do. But again, it's weird. There's good fighters, which he is. Like, this guy's fucking a unified 140-pound champ. Then there's great fighters. Crawford, for me, is a great fighter. People might say, who is he? I don't care. He's a great fucking fighter. The bit about him being in a wrong, I just don't know. Obviously, he had that thing, didn't he, where he was quite racist, and then he put a picture saying, I'm not racist, I've got Asian friends or something. As for the Ramirez fight and Ramirez beating him, don't know about that. Don't know about that. That's the fight that's got to be made. Obviously, both of them with top rank. Is Crawford versus Josh Taylor a big fight? Because it should be, shouldn't it? The guy coming up who's unified the division below, not undisputed, but unified it, that should be a big fight against a champion above. But for some reason in my head, it doesn't seem like a big fight at all. Like, I'm not screaming for it at all. At all. Like, I wouldn't, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Hussein Mohsen says, who are your top 10 greatest boxers of all time? And what team do you think will win the UEFA Champions League? And who do you think will win these fantasy fights? All right, he's got a bunch of fantasy fights here. Top 10 greatest boxers of all time. Oh, I don't know. I might have to do a video on this one separately. I mean, how do you pick a sport that's been going for over 100 years? So there's been thousands of world champions, numerous multi-weight world champions. I mean, legends of the sport, so many different weight classes. I mean, I don't know how, you get these experts that, oh, this person's guaranteed to be number one. I don't, really? I don't know. I'm going to have to do a separate video on that. Who do you think will win the Champions League? I'm a Liverpool fan. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Liverpool fan, because I am, but I'm not, because we are the best team in the world right now. So you would expect, I mean, I think it would shock most people, be straight here, people, whatever team you support, I think it would shock most people if Liverpool were to lose over 2 legs to anybody. Anybody. So I'm getting Liverpool right now. All right, fantasy matchups. Joe Frazier versus Evander Holyfield. Fuck, that's a good one. That's a good one. Smoking Joe Frazier. Evander Holyfield. What a good man. No one ever does this one. I'm going Smoking Joe. Just because I love him. Muhammad Ali versus Joe Louis. That's a great fight, by the way. That is such a good fight. But I've got to go to the GOAT, Muhammad Ali. Especially Muhammad Ali when he was called Cassius Clay. That Muhammad Ali. Bernard Hopkins versus Marvin Hagler. Dude, you've gone for the hardest fucking matchups of all time. Fuck me. Like, Bernard Hopkins is like, when you get, he's a fighter from, obviously, I say this era, kind of, well, he's been fighting for every era, but he's almost a fighter that, in my head, is a throwback fighter from the 70s. There's something about him. I'm split. I can't even call that one. Fuck me, it's a tough one. Can't call it. It's on the fence. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Floyd Mayweather. This one's been spoken about a lot, and I'm going to go Sugar Ray at 147. Sorry. Roberto Duran versus Lomachenko. Duran. Duran's best lightweight ever. Mark H says, who out of the below has best chances of being the next best thing in the heavyweights? Ajagba, Dubois, and the French kid, whose name escapes me, but beat the hell out of Allen. So you're talking about Tony Yoka. I would say Yoka. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Ajagba, not sure. Got put down in his last fight. Comfortable, got put down. Slow feet. Dubois, don't know. I'm something about Yoka. Something about him. I like him. Olympic gold medalist as well. Some people say Joe Joyce should have won that. Record books are record books. I'm liking Yoka, whose name you forgot. Ryan Island says, what's Chris Boyd, aka Boydie, like off camera? I'm a Rangers fan. Dude, fucking immense. Fucking immense. And you know what it is about ex-footballers? Because, by the way, I saw so many footballers, like so many every day. As you can imagine, Sky Studio. So you're seeing footballers every day walk in. They've got some fucking awesome stories. Like, honestly, I can see how all of them do after dinner speaking. But Boydie was excellent. I'm not saying it because I might see him again. Excellent. Honestly, great guy. Great kind of guy that you'd love to go and have a beer with. Like, just because it would be like a night out with him would be fucking epic. Honestly, epic. He's phenomenal. Honestly, phenomenal. Ayed says, what are your main concerns in boxing this year? For example, mine is not enough cross-promotion fights. I want to see Hearn and Warren do more fights together. Yeah, I mean, we can add fucking PDs, we can add belts, we can add so much to that crap. But I think that's probably the biggest one, right? These cross-promotions. Because you mentioned Warren and Hearn. I mean, can we see Charlo fight Demetrius Andrade? Am I asking too much for a PBC fighter to fight a DAZN fighter? I mean, is that never going to happen? I mean, are we never going to get to see that fight? Errol Spence, Terence Crawford. I mean, before Tevin Farmer lost, Tevin Farmer, Javante Davis. I mean, like even from a British standpoint, I mean, Yard Boatsi. These fights are never going to happen, people. We just have to understand they're never going to happen. Like, do you ever expect to see Yard versus Boatsi? I don't ever expect that fight to happen. What a joke. What a fucking joke. Ow, I've clipped my finger too hard there. CRB says, are you coming to Wilder Fury 2? If so, I'll be heading over. I'm not going, which annoys me so much. I've just simply applied for press accreditation too late. So I'm not going. The fight might not have sold out in terms of fans, but in terms of numbers of media outlets going, fuck me, it's definitely sold out. Agus Hamarwan says, what do you think is the worst weight class right now in boxing in terms of competition? To make it more interesting, only choose a weight class above 135 pounds. In terms of competition, 140 ain't great, is it? Let's be honest. You know when you could only picture a couple of fights? Like everyone right now is picturing Ramirez, Josh Taylor. Even though there are some, it's funny, I say that. Sometimes when I'm bored, I go onto BoxRec and there are guys out there that are just smoking people that we do not know. Like smoking people. Like, again, I've always said this, I'm like a hard casual fan. And sometimes I don't know what goes on. But there are guys out there like number 19, like 11-0. You don't even, and you look at the record, they've actually fought some decent level people. But so 147 obviously we know is good. 154 we definitely know is good. 160 is good. 168, not impressed. Sorry, I'm not impressed. No one's setting me a light in that division right now. Nobody. People might be harsh and might take that wrong way because they're good fighters in there. Caleb Plant, Benavidez, Callum Smith. But unless they all fight each other, none of them are going to go down in history as the best super middleweights, are they? So yeah. Ian Child says, best fighter to never win a world title. Boy, I don't even know. Some good British fighters that I thought were pretty decent, never won a world. Like Kevin Mitchell, I thought he was pretty decent, unlucky to not win a world title. Especially when you consider some other guys that have won world titles in this country. But I can't think of Americans or sort of worldwide. That's a difficult question. Zeno, this difficult pronunciation of this. I'm going to butcher your name, I know I am. Zeno Kirakides. Sorry, dude. Yo, Ade, do you think a sit down with Hatman boxing will ever happen? Probably not, just because I don't think he will show his face. Although, in saying that, I know he's recently done some sort of merchandise thing, right? With like cups and hoodies. Good luck to him, by the way. Get that money, boy. Isn't that not his face? If that is, he might be willing to show it now. So, I mean, if he can, I would love it. Honestly, I would love to sit down with him because I think he's one of, if not the most knowledgeable people out there. I know he does a lot of Wilder Fury videos now, but when he wants to get deep into his boxing knowledge, he can get deep, boy. Dino84 says, DeBella, as in Lou DeBella, getting what seems to be fired for arranging that big money deal for Wilder. What's your thoughts? Interesting. For those of you that don't know what he's referring to, now, again, this hasn't been confirmed, but we're led to believe, got to say this nowadays, that Lou DeBella was fired or let go as part of Team Wilder because he supposedly arranged a meeting between Wilder and DAZN. And the issue with arranging that meeting is that Wilder, by hearing what DAZN had on the table in terms of money, then went back and demanded to kind of equal that money with Showtime. So Showtime had to kind of increase their money, and Al Heyman and whoever had to increase their money to match what DAZN were offering him. So hence why he was paid so much for the Dominic Brazil fight, right? That fight definitely made a loss. Probably why his next fight with Luis Ortiz was on Fox rather than Showtime. So it's interesting. If that's the reason he got fired, you can understand why the motherfucker got fired. But yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to do a separate video about that. Zeno Kyriakidis says, who do you think would have won, Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson. I mean, Roy Jones Jr. going up and beating Ruiz is one thing. I mean, Ruiz, no disrespect to him, ain't no Mike Tyson. So yeah. Acquire says, do you have a girlfriend and where are you from in Africa? Currently single. Get the applications in. Nigeria. Let's get a couple. So what I'm doing here, I know time is short, so a few people have asked like 5 or 6 questions. I'm trying to make sure everyone gets a question in. So apologies if you've asked like a number of questions. I just want everyone to get a crack at it. CRB says, would you let Wilder hit you straight in the face, ring gloves, no headgear, as hard as he can for 20K? Absolutely not. No way. 20K, £20,000. No. You need to add, like, I'm not joking. I wouldn't let him hit me for 200K. No chance. No. What? No. You'd have to, I would have to see guaranteed cash. Nah, I don't think there's any money. Pass. Jazza says, has your experience with Sky prompted you to now do more media work? To be fair, I do quite a lot of media work. You know, I don't always post what I do, but I do quite a lot. But what it has taught me is that there is levels to this, and I've got to do so much more. Like there's levels. You're around people. You're around Sky, and there's people. There's no mistakes. I made a few mistakes in there. Levels. So yeah, it showed me that no time to relax. If I want to do this as a full-time thing, so not this but that, then I've got to get so much better. Suko Sukiboa, I think, says, what is next for you with Sky Sports after the transfer daily? Do you continue with Sky in some capacity, e.g. boxing, or are you invited back during the summer transfer break? Well, look, I've signed a year contract. A lot of people have asked this question. So I've signed a year contract. Now, the idea is I do a lot more work for them. But at the same time, they've got a lot of good reporters. So I guess this show that I was on was almost like a trial to show what I can do. I'm happy that I got to interview AJ because that showed them what I can do, like boxing wise. But we'll see. Look, we'll see, right? There are so many good guys out there, so many guys better than me. So we'll see what happens. Finbar White says, what's your best memory growing up? And do you think AJ will ever have a fight in Nigeria? Keep loving life, Ade. You're doing a lot of good. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Best memory growing up was playing football, like Wembley. I don't know if anyone remembers these games. Do kids even still play these games? Wembley and 60 seconds, right outside my house with a few friends. Great memories, right? No stress, nothing. Just go home from school, literally take off your fucking school uniform, go out, play football for about half an hour, 2 hours, whatever. Mum calls you, Tokes, dinner. Run home, eat, wake up, start again. Oh, God. Nothing prepares you for adulthood. Nothing. That's just not an easy life. Do I think AJ will ever have a fight in Nigeria? I hope so. That doesn't answer the question, does it? Yeah, I do. I think it's more likely yes than it is no, put it that way. Yusuf Patel says, was there any prospect which you were quite high on and thought that they could become world champion, but they just ended up being a hype job, or they just didn't make it? Apart from Chris Eubank Jr., because I know that you are quite high on him. What, you don't count Chris Eubank's IBO belt as a world belt? I'm guessing you don't. prospect that I thought was going to become a world champion but didn't. I'll tell you one that actually became world champion that I thought was going to go on and do so much more. Andre Berto. Don't know why. I just thought Andre Berto was going to do so much more. And that's harsh because like, he became world champion, made millions. But I thought he was going to do a lot better than he did. A lot better. So he kind of shocked me. But yeah. All right. James Paul says, do you think there will be an Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua-esque upset in the foreseeable future for the top 3 heavyweights? And if so, who can you see beating Wilder, Fury, or AJ? I think they're all vulnerable. All of them. I think we've seen it now, haven't we? I mean, even Wilder was losing every single round until he obviously landed that big shot on Luis Ortiz. Every single round. I mean, Tyson Fury looked shocking against Otto Wallin. Cut or no cut. Cuts are part and parcel of boxing. And we saw AJ, even in the rematch. I mean, it's a different AJ, wasn't it? I mean, I liked it because he won. I just wanted him to win his belts back, but it wasn't great. Different style of boxing, wasn't great. So I think that all of them could lose. Every single one of them. Honestly, I mean that. There are a few sort of guys creeping in into that top 15 that might cause them problems. Hrgovic might cause them problems. I don't know. We never know, right? Could Dubois knock one of them out? Who knows, right? This is boxing. There's always going to be a shock like there was with AJ versus Ruiz. All right, next question. Struan McDonald says, could Terence Crawford end up being a massively wasted talent as he is in his early 30s, and though he is a freeweight world champion, he's still not faced a legit opponent and may never unless he leaves Top Rank? I mean, I've spoken about this subject enough, haven't I? Yeah, what can you do? He's not going to be able to leave Top Rank. I mean, that contract is fucking... no chance. I mean, Bob Arum and his contracts. I mean, Mikey Garcia was in contract with Bob Arum and he had to sit out, 18 months of his career? So, yeah, it's just fucked up. I mean, Top Rank as well should be able to pay or entice a Danny Garcia, Furman, Porter over. Surely. I mean, come on. Really? Bob Arum doesn't have 4 or 5 minutes? Fucking joke. Stop, Addy. Mr. Chewbacca, says, do you think there's any chance Sky will offer you a chance to do Gloves Are Off episode? And if so, would you be interested in doing one? I would personally love to see you on there. Keep up the good work. Woo-hoo-hoo. Those are the dreams, you know. I'll be honest with you. I'm a dream chaser now, people. You know, to be fair, I would like to start by doing something like a next gen. But at the same time, I mean, I know people kind of slate what Johnny Nelson does. That shit ain't easy. People, it isn't easy when you got cameras, lights, director in front of you. It's not easy. 2 boxers who are steaming. Shit ain't easy, man. So yeah, I would love the opportunity to do it. But we'll see, right? We'll see. I mean, no one knows where this journey will take you. No one. You don't. It's like we're not even in control or we don't know where we're going in our destination. We just fucking strap the seatbelt in and hope it takes us to somewhere good. Yusuf Patel says, why do you think Joe Calzaghe never gets the recognition he deserves? Doesn't he? You don't think he does? I don't know. I think we have microwave memories, right? We only kind of respect what's always in front of us. And what I mean by that is people that are always spoken about, right? And people that maybe work for Sky. So you're constantly seeing them doing interviews and commentating. I think if Joe Calzaghe, and I'm sure he was offered work by Sky, must have been, surely. If he was sort of at the forefront of our vision and our minds, I think we would talk about him a lot more and then thus it would get the recognition. But I think he's fucking an all-time great, Joe Calzaghe. What a great fighter. Bradley Demon says, Loma versus Prime Floyd at 135. Prime Floyd. Come on. That's Floyd's best weight. Speed, power. No. Loma's phenomenal, but Prime Floyd Mayweather, 135. No. Nah, blood. No chance. Wes B says, Addy, big fan of the channel. My question is this. What are your PBs on deadlift, squat, and bench? Good question. Squat, I can squat 5 plates on each side. So that's 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. So that's 100 kg and the bar. So I can squat, what's that then? 200, fuck me, it's a lot of weight, you know. I can squat 220 kg. My bench press is 2020, 2010. 2020, 2010. Sorry, I don't know this stuff off head like that. So what's that? 60, 120, 130, 140, bar 20, 160. Deadlift, I can deadlift a lot. I can deadlift 6 plates on each side. So that's 120, 120, that's 240 kilos, 260. Not bad, not bad. I'm actually very, look at me, stroking my own back here. But I'm actually very, very strong. Not heavy anymore. Like right now I weigh like 89 kilos, but there was a time, believe it or not, people, where I was like 107. Not fat either, I was really fucking big. I was eating like 7 times a day, trying to get big. Don't know why. You know, now I'm obviously a bit older, it's like, doesn't mean anything to me. And I'm even trying to lose more weight because I felt like I looked a bit too big on TV. I kept saying it, didn't I? Owen Hunt says, if Manny Pacquiao fights Errol Spence this year and wins, would we have to say then that he is the GOAT? He's fucking in the conversation. He's in the conversation. If he were to fight Errol and win, he's in, like, someone needs to tell me what someone needs to do to get into that conversation. If Manny Pacquiao won't be in the conversation if he were to do that, a lot of ifs and buts here, I need to know what gets you in then. What gets you in? What gets you in? Chad Mullin says, can Conor McGregor win a boxing world title, including the WBA regular and IBO? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Conor McGregor couldn't win a British level title fight. Couldn't. He's not a boxer. I mean, I think we're disrespecting boxing here. He had a few boxing bouts when he was very young. He's a mixed martial artist. It's completely different. He would get smoked in the boxing ring. Smoked. No way. No way. Sorry, Chad. Chad's asked a few questions, but again, I'm trying to give everyone a question. Sorry, dude. I might do a part 2 here where I will go back to every question as I did last time. Donald Trump, I hope it's not the Donald Trump, says, do you think Fury will retire if he loses to Wilder? That is a good question. Even though there is a trilogy lined up, I don't think there will be a trilogy if, for example, Fury gets knocked out. That's such a good question. It depends on the loss. If he were to lose on points, no way. If he gets iced, like a Dominic Brazil, where he's like literally stretched out, I wouldn't be shocked if he calls it quits. I really wouldn't. He's made some good money. Dave N says, your thoughts on the comments made by Lou DiBella, in brackets, Wilder, AJ, DAZN negotiations. I spoke about it briefly before, but I am going to do a separate video on it just because it's so difficult to answer that question in 20 seconds. But we'll do a separate video on it because it is it's intriguing that. Matthew Finneran says, when is This Week in Boxing coming back, Ade? This week. 100% this week, people. Again, now that the Sky thing's starting to die down in terms of me having to be there, and it knackered me out, by the way, we're back on it this week, 100%. I was going to do it this Sunday, just gone, but I promised my nephew I'll take him football, and that kind of, it's difficult to do that. You know, it's just quite a busy day. But 100% this week, unless I have to take him football again. Charlie Wise says, should Warrington leave Frank Warren as he's proven incapable of landing a unification fight? Who should Warrington fight next? No, I don't think he should. I don't think he should. Let's not forget as well that Eddie Hearn didn't want to re-sign Warrington. Frank signed him, and Frank has delivered. Like, I get it. I want to see the Shakur Stevenson fight, Gary Russell fight, but I mean, those fights that he's had have been fantastic. Lee Selby, what an atmosphere. Carl Frampton, what an atmosphere. You've got to remember that sometimes. Yeah, I mean, he must be frustrated that he's not getting the Shakur Stevenson fight now, but he's had some big fights. He's had some big fights. I want to see Shakur Stevenson next. I really do. I think you must watch Warrington, and I think people, I mean, if you're an opposing fighter, you must think, who's this reckless crap? Get in there in the ring with that fucking guy and it's different, eh? I mean, I picked Selby to beat him and Carl Frampton to beat him, and that guy just fucking went 100 miles per hour for 12 rounds. It's a fucking frightening prospect. So that's the fight I want to see next. But no, I don't think he should leave Warren. Ash1 says, how does Cruiserweight Hay fare against Cruiserweight Usyk? I don't know why, but I fancy Hay punches way too hard and Usyk can get clocked. So can Hay, though. Let's not forget, Hay can get clocked. I mean, Hay's been clocked a few times at Cruiserweight. Even when he fought Jean-Marc Mormec, he got up and won, but he got clocked in that fight. I think people forget that. Obviously got clocked early on in his career as well. What was that? His 9th fight. So he can get clocked as well. I haven't seen, as much as Usyk's been clocked, and he has been, he's never been down. He hasn't been down. Hay has. And he's smart, right? You know what it is? You can have all that natural attributes, which David Hay's clearly got, right? David Hay athletically is amazing. But Usyk just seems like a smart boxer, man. And I could just see him, I could see David Hay swarming him for the first few rounds. If he survives, big if, I can just see him just being too smart for David Hay and getting the job done. And so I'd favour Usyk. I really would. What have we got now? Adam Tidswell says, hey Ade, how do you see Joyce versus Dubois playing out if it goes ahead in April? Keep up the good work with the vids. Thanks, brother. I'm very split on this one. I've always asked people rather than giving my own opinion. What I have said, though, is that we're all very impressed with Dubois' power, right? And rightly so. But Joe Joyce would knock out all those guys as well. All of them. Fujimoto, come on, behave. Latte, Tete, Gorman. He's putting all those guys to sleep as well. Joe Joyce is the better boxer, I believe. Olympic silver medal tells me that. And I think he's fitter, right? Joe Joyce, the juggernaut, is known for his engine. He can keep going. He'll keep going. So because of all that, I think I would favour Joe Joyce. I would. But again, I mean, Daniel Dubois doesn't mind a tear-up, does he? I think we saw that in the Latte fight. I mean, he will bite on that gum shield and fucking throw with you. Joe Joyce doesn't throw punches and combinations. It's more single shots. Daniel Dubois throws combinations as well, which could be interesting. Got a good jab as Dubois as well. Gun to the head, Joe Joyce. Istvan Grob says, Ade, why do you have such little faith in AJ against Wilder? Are you so mesmerized by Wilder? Why? Please don't tell me that every Wilder opponent has to be perfect for 36 minutes bullshit. I absolutely love your channel, by the way. Thanks. I just feel like... I'm sorry, I'm going to say you that every opponent has to be perfect for 36 minutes bullshit. It's true. It's true. That power is not normal. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I do believe at a stage in that fight, he will catch Anthony Joshua. That being said, let's not forget, Joshua has supreme power as well. So I do believe that if AJ catches Wilder clean, Wilder would never have been hit as hard by anyone the way AJ could hit him. So AJ could knock out Wilder as well, but I will favour Wilder in that fight. Dad FGG1 says, if you started making 100k plus a year working for a big network like Sky, would you still do YouTube videos? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me put it this way. If Sky offered me, I don't know, say like Sky loved me and they said, Ade, we're going to offer you 150k a year. And somehow, I don't know how, but somehow on this channel, I could make 60k a year, I would do this instead of that. Fact. Not bullshitting. 100%. I love this. I love doing this. I just don't know what it is. Just like it. I think because I can 100% be me. Whereas with Sky, maybe because I'm very new in it, I feel like I'm not 100% me yet. Whereas this is just, I love it. I love it. This journey is on YouTube. Obviously, most people that tune in might only know it from the green chair and this. But obviously, I've been doing this with Ryan. I started like YouTube boxing videos with Ryan like 5-6 years ago. I love it. I love it. All right, I don't know how long we've been going for, but like last 10 minutes, right? Milfy Swinbuckle says, as you say in your Manny Pacquiao Lance Armstrong video, when boxers die in the ring. My question is, what should happen if a boxer is killed in the ring and it turns out that his opponent had been juicing? How should the cheater be punished? In my opinion, I think even a long ban is not enough. I personally think that a prison sentence should be considered. Though if you did this, then you would have to do it for any boxer who juices, for they could potentially endanger their next opponent. Fucking hell. Yes. Yeah, prison sentence. It has to be a prison sentence. A ban? You juiced and you killed someone. Prison sentence, man. I don't know what they're gonna do with PDs and boxing, just because there are so many different PDs as well, which provide different things. But regardless, you're cheating. You're into the. I think it should be. I think it's almost like everything should just be labeled cheats. You're cheating, but then you go in the ring and you kill someone. Fuck, brother. That's a tough answer. Tough question. Sorry, I don't know how to answer it. Andy Ryan says, "Hi, Addy. Is your time at Sky over?" No, it isn't. Again, I've said it before, but signed a year contract. Hopefully, more work comes, but you never know, right? Even if it were to end now, I did it, did I? Did I mean sometimes a case of I never ever expected on this journey to work for Sky. I did it. So even if it does go now, still got the memories, but no, it's not over. Definitely not over. John Smith says, will Canelo ever be as great as Mayweather if he continues not fighting the best fighters in their prime, e.g. Charlo, Saunders, Andrade? The list of top fighters is long. Why does he only challenge fighters on the slide? I don't know if I can agree with that. Golovkin went on the slide. He was older a bit, but Golovkin certainly wasn't on the slide when they fought the first time. Certainly not. Nor was Danny Jacobs either. Certainly not. And you say e.g. Charlo, Saunders, Andrade. I mean, Jacobs and Golovkin are better than those three. So he's already beaten guys that are better than those three that you've mentioned for Charlo. Charlo ain't done shit. Nor has Saunders. And I love Demetrius Andrade. He ain't done shit either. So, nah, I don't think so. James Waldron says, do you think people look at the greats of the past with rose-tinted glasses and overrate them and underrate the fighters of today? Yeah, I think we do it in every sport, if I'm honest with you. I'm a victim of that as well. Like, for me, the best footballer I've ever seen is Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo. But the stats don't help me when I compare his stats to Messi and the Ronaldo now. But I do it, so we all do it, right? No doubt Novak Djokovic is going to overtake Roger Federer soon in terms of Grand Slam titles. I still think Roger Federer is the greatest tennis player of all time. Just one of those things we do. We have those rose-tinted glasses, boy. Chris Everley says, what's up, Ade? Much love as always. So gassed for all the Sky Sports business you've had going on. Question, who's your pick to win in what I think would be an absolute war between Dillian White and Big Baby Miller? I think White would edge it on the scorecards or potentially stop Miller, but wouldn't be surprised either way. I definitely would go Dillian White, like definitely. Miller ain't beat anyone. Like Miller is one of those people now that we're going on. We talk about Miller, I think, just because of his mouth. He hasn't beaten anyone. No one. I would more swap Dillian White in and put Chisora versus Miller. I think that would be a good one. And that would be close and could go either way. But I think Dillian White's a top 6 heavyweight. I think he would beat Miller. I really do. Miss TT UK says, are you doing Sky Boxing interviews full time now? You're made for it. I hope so. I love them. I find it more natural to me. The football ones are difficult because, especially the official ones, the little sit-down ones you can have a bit of banter with. But the boxing ones, I kind of know all that shit off head, honestly. Not that I don't have to research it, but if I struggle, and you are struggling, by the way, because when you're interviewing, depending upon where they take you, you are thinking of the next question. But because I've got a load of boxing knowledge, or at least I think I have, I kind of know what the questions are going to go and where it could go. And I don't think I'd ever struggle with a boxing interview, he says. All right, last question. We are definitely going to have to do a part 2 because I'm sure there's like 60 or 70 questions left. And you know what I'm like, I feel bad about it. So last 2. What we got here? Darren Newton says, Danny Dubois versus Joe Joyce pay-per-view. Does Warren have the stable to stack this card? Warrington versus an unknown Mando and Yard versus the bum is not enough. No, it's not, is it? It'll probably chuck on a Liam Williams and a couple of other British ranked or British level guys. He doesn't have it, but you can understand why it's a pay-per-view, unfortunately. I hate it because it really isn't, is it? It's not. In fact, it's not a pay-per-view fight. Do we know if it is pay-per-view? Is it been confirmed? That's not pay-per-view. It's not pay-per-view, is it? Aziz Raja says, Addy, congrats on a Sky gig, bro. Does this whole YouTube boxing scene make boxing look stupid? Not really. I think real boxing fans understand it for what it is, and I think we separate the two. We know that's YouTube boxing and that's legit boxing, and we just accept it. I think casual boxing fans, and I mean real low-level casual boxing fans, might think it like muddies the water, but I don't agree. All right, last question. Michael H says, how many more YouTube fighters are going to sign with Matchroom? I don't think they're signed. I think it's just like a fight-by-fight basis. But again, as I said earlier on, you can't blame her because the numbers are just ridiculous. Anyway, guys, that's part 1. We will definitely do a part 2 this week of questions I missed, because I do believe there are about another 30, 40. Peace.